Hey everybody, good morning. It is 27th of February, it's a Tuesday, it's Octa Day, and Octa will be coming later. Thank you all for coming. I just want to have a quick question. Did anybody get any sleep last night? Because I certainly didn't. We had a record-breaking day in so many perspectives, and we're going to break it all down. It's day 31 of these things called Bitcoin ETFs. And wow, do they have an impact. So let's jump in. Thank you as well to TNT Tesla and everybody for coming. Let's make this a big one. And again, hit the likes. People need this message right now. And if you hit the likes, maybe people you know that have similar interests will see it too, because this is an important time. GK, thank you so much. So anyway, we didn't sleep last night. We saw a Bitcoin frenzy. We saw a whole bunch of movements. We saw record volume. We saw new global records in different currencies. And the guy called Mr. 100 buys 100 Bitcoin 3 times a day like clockwork. We'll talk about $17 billion of inflows and also the potential for a very seismic shift in the world and how certain institutions are peeing themselves. So let's go. And thank you as well to everybody on Patreon. Latest quote of the day, Crypto Dave. People love their shout outs, by the way. Thank you, Crypto Dave. He said, I love your content. Proud Patreon here. Yay. Thank you, Dave, for coming. Brilliant community. I love it. And they make all of this possible too. So also the playlist is here for if you just want Bitcoin only data. Some people do that. And we only have 50 days left to the halving. All right, we're 31 days into the ETF. We'll see what I can do in 24 hours. I made a video about 10 or 11 days ago saying this thing is going to pop. And then people were saying literally 10 days later, what's happening? We're still at 51K. Well, there's the pop. And it's madness. Anyway, let's talk about what happened. We went from 50,900 to 57,400 in 24 hours. That is a massive, massive jump. Okay? I always say risk happens fast. This thing will sit quietly for a week or two or a month or two or 3 months or two, whatever, and then it'll pop. In addition, all right, this is the interesting part. We did 12.7% in 24 hours on Bitcoin. 12.7% from top to bottom. We just need 18 more percent to get to a new all-time high. Let that sink in. Is it possible in 50 days? Oh yeah, very. In addition, fear and greed is now at 79. That is extreme greed. People are hungry. But retail's not exactly in yet, and I'll talk about why. If we look at this chart here from the team at CryptoQuant, I nearly said Glassnode. On-chain data has screamed that new whales are accumulating Bitcoin. Now they're sitting on a 38% unrealized profit. And it seems like not enough profit, eh? But we are so early, but we're going so high so early. And I've been saying that for a year now. And this proves it. This is the realized price for the 30-day active whale cohort. And they are making money. Follow the whales. They know what they're doing. In addition, IBIT, the BlackRock ETF for Bitcoin, is now 8th of all the ETFs on the planet. That includes things like Spider, the S&P 500 ETF, which is top of the charts. But what's really interesting too, and a shout out to Sanjay as well for sharing, if you look way down the list with the little gold underline, you'll see the gold ETF. And it's not doing very well. In fact, GBTC is right behind the gold ETF in terms of volume. So things are changing very fast. And speaking of gold, you can see it is being drained by this new digital gold called Bitcoin. Bitcoin ETFs are catching up to gold ETFs for assets. $40.7 billion for Bitcoin, $92 billion for gold. So we're nearly halfway there. And that's just after 31 days of trading, ladies and gentlemen. There is a new gold in town, and we know what it is. In addition, this is also very interesting. It is truly remarkable. This is how the amount of supply of Bitcoin that has not moved in over 3 years, it's half, okay? This shows a very remarkable belief in Bitcoin. This is why Bitcoin wins. We know that 70% of supply hasn't moved in the last 12 months, but more impressive is the fact that half of the circulating supply hasn't moved for at least 3 years. And these buyers bought in Q1 2021, and that was the top of the market almost. And they held through a 75% unrealized loss and they were not shaken, and they continued to layer in DCA in the bear market, and that dropped their cost basis from 47,000 to 35,000. That is how you do it. Billions are made in the bear, and it shows you what a special asset this is. People are down 75%. They still hold, and they buy more because they know where it's going. Madness. Anyway, this is kind of the funny part as well. Again, shout out to Sanjay for sharing this with me. I just thought it was a funny thing to recommend because this is from Unwrinkle Your Soul, man. I don't even care about profit in Bitcoin. I just want to see the government and banks pee themselves. And that's an old tweet. But the point is, it's actually happening in different parts of the world already. Let's look at what's going on. So first of all, you've got new all-time highs in Swedish krona today. Shout out to everybody in Sweden right now. We also have a new all-time high in the Norwegian krona. And basically, that means that the currency is debasing compared to other assets. We are not near an all-time high, as I just said, in US dollar, but it shows you that potentially these currencies are getting weaker based against not only the dollar, but also very weak against Bitcoin. So if you are living in Sweden and Norway, and we have a lot of people in the community from these places, they know their currency is going down, and that's why they love Bitcoin, and that's why they're interested in it too. Now, the first question I asked myself when I saw these two charts was, what about Denmark, Danish krona? Well, because of Wegovy, the weight loss injection thing, that's keeping the Danish krona very strong right now. So they are not at an all-time high yet, but real close. Now, speaking of other banks peeing themselves, you can see here Nigeria delivers jumbo rate hike to aid its battered Naira. They want to increase the interest by 400 basis points on their currency to 22.75% to try to convince people to hold deposits of the Nigerian Naira. And they're also trying to clamp down on Bitcoin and prevent people from investing in Bitcoin, okay? This is happening all over the world. The central banks are paying themselves. Nobody wants this trash currency, even if you'll pay them 23% a year on it, because they know it debases by probably 80%. So it doesn't make mathematical sense. And people will find a way. And in a place like Nigeria, and when they launched the CBDC Naira, the e-Naira, the digital Naira, nobody wants that crap. Nobody. Over to Bitcoin. That's how it works. Now, this is also from JVS, James Van Straten. A pretty insightful tweet as well. He thinks, when Bitcoin hits $100,000 and becomes a $2 trillion asset, the FOMO and the money leaving assets, like we've seen the gold outflows, etc., boom, and deposits leaving banks could be big enough to start or cause a seismic, systematic credit event. I added the word seismic. And of course, we saw when Signature and Silvergate collapsed, we didn't even have the ETFs, but now it's easier to move capital than ever into Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the life raft. Thank you, Jimmy, for coming. I've always said that Bitcoin is your life raft against fiat. This going to 100K could cause that big wake-up moment. Not only institutional FOMO, but retail FOMO and FOMO all across the board. All the people, like literally, when we were down at 16K and 15.5, I was calling kind of my network. I'm saying, okay, you've been on the fence for 5 years now or more. Now is the time to buy it. They said, no, I think it's going lower. I'll wait. But these are the people that could have bought at 15.5 or 16K that will wait for $100,000 to get in. And I still haven't figured out that glitch in the human psyche. So somebody help me do that. Anyway, another mistakes. Okay, this is about learning from mistakes. A guy called Trevor Noah, apparently he's a very big celebrity, and this just came in from Bitcoin News, and Trevor Noah says the biggest mistake in his life is not buying Bitcoin when it was nothing, as well as not taking the time to understand it. And the message here is study Bitcoin. Learn. Those that have dedicated the time to learn get it. And they are very comfortable in their little life raft. The other people on the Titanic are sitting in the bar having drinks. They don't have a life raft because they haven't taken the time to learn. Sorry for my crude analogy, but my job is to try and get the message out there. In addition, breaking. This is Mr. 100. Shout out to Huddle 1500. Now, Mr. 100, or Huddle 15, I think. And Mr. 100 is now the 15th largest wallet. But literally, since the 14th of Feb, which is Valentine's Day, and he's been buying before that too, Mr. 100 has bought at least 100 Bitcoin, sometimes 3 times a day, amassing 4,000 Bitcoin in just 2 weeks. That's a fifth of $1 billion. And this relentless buying extends back to November 2022, making Mr. 100 the 15th largest Bitcoin whale. He now has over $2.6 billion in Bitcoin, 47,200 of them. And literally, it's like tick-tock, 100 a day, 3 times, 100, 100, 100. Tomorrow, 100, 100, 100. It's just the weirdest DCA system I've ever seen. It's hilarious. And one day I hope to find out who this is. But they have a big bag right now. And they are not an ETF. Remember that. They are not an ETF. That could be a sovereign nation or who knows what. Anyway, in addition, more on-chain. And by the way, I'll do Octa later today. This is super interesting. Bitcoin has only spent 80 days in its entire history above 57,000. We are now at 57,200. All right, that'll be a new day. Tomorrow it'll be 81 days if we can hang up here. The total amount of days of Bitcoin existence is about 4,973. So it's only been above this level of 57,000 for 1.6% of its entire life. Trading days with a higher daily closing price. So we are in uncharted territory, and as I mentioned, we don't have far to go. Another 18%, we're at all-time highs. And you know what happens after you hit an all-time high? Price discovery, woo, straight to the moon. Sorry, it's an exciting day. And again, no sleep, so I'm running on caffeine here. In addition, Bitcoin breaks into the top 10 global assets. Next in the box is Meta, Facebook. We will crush Meta, Facebook. No doubt about that. And after that, it's silver. Silver and Meta will be taken down in the coming weeks, I probably imagine. Maybe even this week. We will see. After that, it's Google and Amazon. And the higher you go, the air gets thinner. But it'll be an interesting time nonetheless. And it will become a $2 trillion asset. Most probably this cycle. That's at least a doubling, probably a tripling. And then the world will wake up and say, what is this Bitcoin thing? I better get some. It's just, anyway. Let's talk about the raw numbers for the ETF, day 31. Now, a quick assumption here. I built a model. I analyze these numbers every single day. And I analyzed 30 days of history and the volume correlation to the actual buy amount. Now, the numbers for BlackRock are not fully out yet, only 100 million. I don't believe there's 100 million, but based on my model, I did make my assumption, and it's just shy of 400 million right now. So I did include these. You might see other numbers flying around, but I trust my numbers more than reported stuff. So take this with a grain of salt, but normally this thing has been very correct within 5% error margin over the last 30 days. So let's look at what's going on. ETFs are back. Now, BlackRock, you can see a big spike up there. Not the biggest day for BlackRock, but a big day nonetheless, based on my volume assumption, not based on the 100 million that's reported. I have much higher than that. Also, you can see Fidelity is up as well. Fidelity had their second, third best day. But what's ultra interesting is the other ETFs came back pretty hard, and they all add up a little bit. In addition, we had the thinnest dumpage ever from Grayscale in 31 days. And that has a big impact too. So not only do you have big days from the new ETFs, but you've got minimal dumpage from Grayscale, which has a big impact. Let's look at the money flow at day 31. You can see, according to my calculations, we had a record day, $789.1 million. And that's reflected as well in the record day of volume 2. Big news. In addition, total money still up big time. The total cumulative amount net of GBTC dumpage is over $7 billion right now. We now have 17.1 billion into these new ETFs in just 31 days. That is a lot of money. Again, That reflects about approximately 312,600 Bitcoin pulled into these puppies in 31 days. Now, I could share annualized numbers if this continues for the next 12 months, but they will melt your faces, so I'm going to hold back on that because I don't want to spread too much hopium. But boy, if it continues, it's going to be an incredible bull run. Mark my math. Not my words, my math. In addition, this is another reflection. Again, depending on the actual price of the Bitcoin, I'll be going to all the sites and pull in the addresses. But the point is 300,000 Bitcoin into the new ETFs in a very short window of time. Another view of what the day looked like too. And this is the net per day cumulative. I believe 14,471 Bitcoin were pulled from the system. Again, assuming 392 million into BlackRock. We do not have those numbers yet, but I'll tweet them out later when they do get refined. And when their wallet is updated, some of the ETFs have their wallet public online. Some don't. Some take 2 or 3 days to reflect that. So anyway, the point is a big record-breaking day and not a good day for fiat. Not a good day for some central banks around the world. But hopefully this is a wake-up call out there for everybody. This is a crazy time to be alive. Things are breaking down. Okay? Fiat is breaking down. Debt is breaking down. This is your life raft, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go. Thank you so much as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you for the likes on the way out. For nearly 4,500 people watching live. And I'll see you all in a few hours. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.